Buenos días, clase. Esta es la agenda de hoy, 9 de junio de 2021. So these are the topics that we're going to cover today. We're going to keep practicing the conjugation of the past subjunctive. And we're going to do some exercises in which you will be able to express your own information using the past subjunctive. We have a short exercise of El Salvador y Honduras and a reminder of the homework, las tareas. So, what did we saw last class? We saw that the past subjunctive is used in the same context and situations as the present of the subjunctive, except that it describes actions, events, or conditions that happened in the past. So we use the present of the subjunctive to talk about present or future actions or events, and the past subjunctive only refers to past actions or events. We said that the past subjunctive is triggered in the same situations and contexts with the same trigger words that the present of the subjunctive. So if you don't remember these trigger words, please look at this video. This video is also was also attached in our presentation of Tuesday of yesterday. But please, if you haven't watched it, it's a 10-minute video and it will help you remember what are the structures that triggers the subjunctive, what are the verbs that triggers the subjunctive. Here I want us just to see more graphically what do I mean when I say that the past subjunctive refers to past actions and the present of the subjunctive refers to present and future actions. So here I have 3 sentences that look similar, but they are making reference to different time frames. So if you see number 1, esperaba que tuvieras un buen día en tus clases ayer, you're saying yo esperaba, I hoped. You're using the imperfect, you're referring to the past. I hoped in the past that you had a good day yesterday in your classes. So you're using the past subjunctive to refer to a past event or action. I hope that you had in the past, in this case yesterday, a good day. Then if you go to sentence number 2, espero que tengas un buen día hoy en tus clases, you're saying yo espero, I hope that you have a good day today in your classes. So tengas is making reference to a present time frame. I hope that you have today a good day in your classes. Espero que tengas un buen día mañana en tu entrevista de trabajo. Espero que tengas, I hope that you have a good day tomorrow in your job interview. So tengas is making reference to a future event, tomorrow. I hope that you have tomorrow a good day in your job interview. Here are some other 3 examples. We have the first one, quería que fuéramos a la playa el fin de semana pasado. I wanted us to go to the beach last weekend. Literally, what you are saying actually is yo quería, I wanted that que we went. So you're using the past subjunctive to the beach last weekend. So you are using the past subjunctive to make reference to a past event. I wanted us to go last weekend to the beach. So that's why you're using the past subjunctive. Last weekend, I wanted us to go to the beach. Then we have the present tense here, quiero que vayamos, and the person of the subjunctive, quiero que vayamos a la playa ahora. I want us to go to the beach now. So vayamos, in the present of the subjunctive, is making reference to a present event now. Number 3, quiero que vayamos a la playa el próximo fin de semana. I want us to go to the beach next weekend. So vayamos, again in the present of the subjunctive, is making reference to a future event, next weekend. I want us to go to the beach. So now we're going to have a reminder of how to conjugate in the past subjunctive. We talked about 3 steps. Paso 1, conjugate the verb in the prelude of the ustedes, ellos, ellas, ellas form. So for the verb estudiar, you have to conjugate it into estudiaron. You're conjugating the verb in the predicate of the ustedes, ellos, ellas, ellas form. So that means in the plural form in the third person. Paso 2, drop the RON. So when you conjugate the verb in the predicate of the ustedes, ellos, ellas, ellas form, you're always going to have an RON ending. If you don't have it, that means that you didn't conjugate the verb correctly in the predicate for the ustedes, ellos, ellas, y ellas form. So if you drop this, you're going to have the stem estudia. This stem is going to be your stem for the past subjunctive. To that stem, to estudia, you're going to add the past subjunctive endings according to the subject. These are the past subjunctive endings according to the subject in the yo form ra, tú form ras, usted, él, ella form ra, nosotros, nosotras, nosotres form ramos, vosotros, vosotras, vosotres form rais, ustedes, ellos, ellas, y ellas form ran. So I want to conjugate the verb estudiar in the past subjunctive, and I will have this stem. I have to add the past subjunctive ending. So we have yo estudiara, tú estudiaras, él, ella, ellas, usted estudiara, nosotros estudiáramos, vosotros, vosotras, vosotres estudiaras, ellos, ellas, y ellas estudiaran. So notice two things. The first thing that is that you have in the yo form and él, ella, usted form the same verb. Estudiara, estudiara. So usually when you are talking about él, ella, or usted, you're gonna have to add also the subject pronoun to differentiate it from this. Also the context of your sentence are gonna give the meaning of if you are using it in the yo form or the usted, él, ella form. The second thing I want you to notice is that in the nosotros, nosotras, y nosotres form, you always add a written accent, una tilde, in the vowel before the subjunctive ending. So the subjunctive ending is ramos, and you add a tilde, written accent in front, in the vowel that is closer to or is in front of the subjunctive ending for the nosotros, nosotras, nosotres form. Notice that it only happens in this subject pronoun in the past subjunctive. Please, if this is not clear enough, watch this video. Watch it until minute 4:41. This video goes very slowly through how to conjugate the verb in the past subjunctive. So you can also see that as an extra practice. If you need that, please watch the video that you have here. This is what I said before, that in the nosotros, nosotras, nosotres form, you're always going to have a written accent in the vowel that's closer to the past subjunctive ending. So estudiáramos, aprendiéramos, recibiéramos, right? So you have la tilde here. Only happens in the nosotros and nosotras form. This is what I said. If I think this is also very graphic. If you want to conjugate in the past subjunctive, you have a verb in the infinitive. First you conjugate the verb in the predicate for the ellos, ellas, ellas, or ustedes form, right? You are always going to have a verb ending in RON. So the step number 2 is to take that RON away, and you're gonna stay with the stem of the past subjunctive, and to that stem you're going to add the past subjunctive endings according to the subject. So hablara, hablaras, hablara, habláramos, hablarais, hablarán, and so bebiera, bebieras, bebiera, bebiéramos, bebierais, bebieran, and so on. So our first exercise is here. So I want you to go to As You Learn and click under chapter 17, capítulo 17, and you have here the Google Slides that we're currently on. If you need them, they're here. But we're going to finish this class assignment while we're watching this video. So the first one is to conjugate these verbs here in the past subjunctive, but you have to complete this table with all the steps. So you have to put step 1 here, so you have to conjugate this verb first in the ellos, ellas, ellas form of the predicate. Then drop the final RON. You have to have an RON. If you don't have an RON, that means that you didn't conjugate it correctly. You can check your conjugations in the predicate with this online conjugator. You just have to write the verb in the infinitive, and you can corroborate that you are conjugating the verb correctly in the predicate for the ellos, ellas, ellas form. And then you're going to use the past subjunctive endings according to the given subject here to conjugate the verb in the past subjunctive. So for example, dormirse, the verb dormirse, you conjugate it first in the ellos form of the predicate, so you have se durmieron, then you drop the RON and you have the stem for the past subjunctive, and then because I'm giving you here the subject, you have to conjugate, you have to add the past subjunctive endings of the yo form. So yo me, so me is the subject pronoun, me is the reflexive pronoun conjugated according to the subject, and the subject is yo. Yo me durmiera. Yo me durmiera. That would be your answer here. So you have to do all the steps for all these 9 verbs. Step 1, step 2, put your answers here, and step 3, I'm giving you here the subjects. Then we have exercise number 2. So here in the same assignment you have número 2, structures. I want you to identify in the main class the structure verb that is triggering the subjunctive in the subordinate class. I want you to underline that verb that's triggering the subjunctive and identify its verb tense, if it's in the predicate or in the imperfect. Then in the subordinate class is after que, starts here. Que, this is your subordinate class. It starts after que. Conjugate the verb in the parenthesis in the past subjunctive. So you have to conjugate this verb that you have here in the past subjunctive according to the subjects that you have here. Okay, so pause this video here because in the next slide I'm gonna show you the answers. Please don't change after you see the answers in the next slide. Please don't change your submission on as you learn, because I'm gonna give you feedback on what you have as it is. It's just gonna help you see what the answers should look like. So I'm gonna show you the answers now. So the first one is Marcos deseaba que yo trabajara menos. The verb that's triggering the subjunctive is deseaba, and that is conjugated in the imperfect tense. Número 2, me sorprendió que tú tener tanto dinero en esa empresa. Me sorprendió que tú tuvieras tanto dinero en esa empresa. Tuvieras is in the past subjunctive. The verb that's triggering the past subjunctive is sorprendió. It me sorprendió, it surprised me, which is in the predicate. El político no quería que nosotros saber la verdad. El político no quería que nosotros supiéramos la verdad. Supiéramos is in the past subjunctive. You have the accent mark because it's in the nosotros form in the vowel before the past subjunctive ending. Quería is the verb that's triggering the subjunctive in the subordinate class, and it's in the imperfect tense. Número 4, me alegró que quisieras ser política. Quisieras is the verb in the past subjunctive. Alegró is the verb that's triggering the subjunctive, and it's conjugated in the predicate. 5, de pequeño era malo que yo nunca comiera mis verduras. So era malo is the structure verb that's triggering the subjunctive in the subordinate class. Comiera is the past subjunctive verb it was bad that I never ate my vegetables. So the next exercise is number 3, and I'm asking you to answer 5 of the following questions using the past subjunctive. You can choose which 5, and I'm gonna go one by one because I'm gonna give an example for each one. So the first one is, ¿qué te sorprendió que pasara esta semana o la semana pasada? What happened that surprised you this week or last week? Me sorprendió, ejemplo, this is my example, que mi compañera de casa adoptara un gato. It surprised me that my housemate adopted a cat, for example. ¿Qué te molestó que pasara ayer o la semana pasada? What did someone do that upset you yesterday or last week? Me molestó que mi perra me sacara de la cama. It bothered me or it upset me that my dog kicked me out of bed. So you're using the past subjunctive. You're saying it bothered me in the past that happened, that in this case my dog kicked me out of bed. ¿Qué te alegró que alguien hiciera hoy o ayer? What did someone do that made you happy? Ejemplo, me alegró que, it made me happy that mi amiga me llamara. So it made me happy that my friend called me. ¿Qué te emocionó que pasara el fin de semana pasado? What happened last week that made you excited? Me emocionó que mi pareja y yo viéramos la segunda temporada de Feel Good. It made me excited that my partner and I watched the second season of Feel Good. So it made me excited. I'm talking about the past, that we did that in the past. So past subjunctive. The verbs that you see in bold are the verbs that are triggering the subjunctive. And the verbs that you see here in blue are the verbs in the past subjunctive. ¿Qué te entristeció que pasara el año pasado? What happened last year that upset you? Me entristeció, that made you sad. What happened last year that made you sad? Me entristeció que yo no pudiera ver a mi familia el año pasado. It made me sad that I didn't see my family last year. So, ¿qué te entristeció a ti? What happened last year that made you upset? ¿Qué esperabas que tú y tus amigos hicieran el año pasado? What did you hope you and your friends would do last year? Esperaba que fuéramos a Guatemala. I hoped that we would go to Guatemala. So notice that you would use in Spanish, I hoped, esperaba in the imperfect, that we, and you're saying like we go in the past to Guatemala, that we went to Guatemala, using the past subjunctive. ¿Qué querías que tú y tu familia hicieran el año pasado? Quería que pasáramos Navidad juntos. I wanted us to spend Christmas together. ¿Qué deseabas que tú y tus amigos hicieran ayer? Ayer deseaba que comiéramos comida china. So you're saying that yesterday I wished that we ate Chinese food. ¿Qué te aconsejaban tus padres que hicieras en tu niñez? Mis padres me aconsejaban que estudiara mucho. So my parents advised me that I study a lot. In English you would say my parents advised me to study a lot. But in Spanish it's mis padres me aconsejaban, my parents advised me that I studied a lot. ¿Qué te sugerían tus profesores que hicieras en la escuela? What did your teachers suggest you to do in school? Ejemplo, mis profesores me sugerían que estudiara más. My teachers suggest me that I study more. And I think this is the last one, yes. So you have to select just 5 of these questions and answer them using your own information. I'm giving you here some examples, the verbs that are here in bold are the ones in the past subjunctive, and if you see here, these are the verbs that are triggering the subjunctive. We're going to do a reflection about this. I want you to reflect on today's activities of the past subjunctive. What was easy for you and what was hard for you. This is important for me so I can also give you feedback on any resources that you would need to help you with this topic. The last topic I want us to cover today is Honduras and El Salvador. So we're going to see some general information about these two countries, una información general sobre estos dos países. So we can see here the area of these two countries, la población, the population. Honduras tiene casi 9 millones de habitantes y El Salvador tiene un poco más de 6 millones. La moneda es el lempira. I forgot to put it here, but $1 is 24 lempiras. The currency of El Salvador, moneda means currency, but it can also mean coin, is also the dollar, the US dollar. So in El Salvador, they use the US dollar. There are, both countries speak Spanish, but they have also native languages. In Honduras, they have all these languages. Some of them are Mayan languages and from other families. In El Salvador have Español, Lenca, and Nahuatl as languages they speak in the area. So where are they located? They are located in Central America. Here, if you can see in this green is Honduras, and then this little one here in black is El Salvador. So I want you to choose either El Salvador or Honduras. So choose between A or B, A El Salvador, B Honduras, and read a vistas. And I'm giving you here the pages that you have to read according if you're choosing to read about El Salvador or Honduras, and according to the information that you are reading in your textbook of vistas. Open the following logs of the scavenger hunt. So you click here, you put your name, and you click in every log. You have a cierto falso question. So El Salvador es el país más grande de Centroamérica, and you write here cierto or falso according to what you are reading. You can click here this light, and it's gonna ask you if you are sure you want to show the hint for this clue, and you can click yes, and here you have some hints. So I'm giving you hints about your answers, and you have to put the right answer in order to open the lock. Okay, so that will be the last assignment of the day. I just want to remind you of our homework. We have the super site, new vocabulary exercise, el cine y la televisión, cierto o falso, the super site, the past subjunctive exercise, 16.3 repaso, and just to remind you of the final project. We will have presentations of the final project in our last week, so in 2 weeks of classes, and you're going to present your infographic based on the 2 resource annotations that you have done during the semester. So if you have not submitted your topic, please do that as soon as possible, and after you submit your topic, you can start working on your annotations 1 and 2. Muy bien, y nos vemos mañana. Please reach out to me if you have any questions.